All right, so let me start by saying I don't hold it against anybody who says that our prices are too high for them. I don't blame you. I don't judge you. One of my biggest beefs with regenerative agriculture is that it kind of prioritizes saving the environment over like considering people, considering things like paying their workers living wages and making sure that the business is profitable so that you don't have to cut corners with people, and making sure, or at least making plans to get your prices affordable for most people, instead of doing what regenerative ag often does, which is kind of blaming and shaming people for not spending a bigger portion of their constantly shrinking incomes on food so that we get to play in the dirt and under the sunlight like this. And I actually talk about this directly on our website, like straight up saying, hey, please bear with our high prices if you can, while we try to like get bigger and leverage economies of scale to bring the prices of our stuff down to within range of more people's budgets. Specifically, our business does not attract a whole lot of speculative capital. It'll attract some, but it's the kind of capital that's going to ask us to do things differently in the field, or say, hey, instead of paying $20 an hour as your minimum wage, just bring that down to like 14 to 13. Pay a competitive wage for what everybody else is. Do what everybody else is doing. And for anybody who remembers the hot pink egg carton story, I didn't get into this business to do it the way everybody else is doing it. But with that said, my eggs aren't $8 a dozen. They're $7.15. And if you come to our shop and save us the trip an hour and a half north or south to DC or Richmond or Baltimore or whatever, I mean they're even less. And here's the thing, that $7.15 price is the highest it's ever been and is the biggest price increase we've had in almost 4 years. See, throughout the pandemic, throughout all the inflation and greedflation and like all the stuff that caused everybody to jack up their prices just because they could, I kept our prices flat. Our prices 2 weeks ago when eggs were $6.50 were the same price that they were before the pandemic started. I knew farmers who were charging $1 an egg for these things. And a lot of them were literally laughing at me because I refused to raise my prices. Because I knew that one day the party's going to be over, number one. And number two, I didn't get in business to people over. We did everything we could to keep our prices where they were and not jack things up as the cost of feed went up, as the cost of paper products went up, as the cost of everything went up. We did backflips to make sure that our prices stayed stable. We created a co-op. We started buying in bulk, leveraging economies of scale, cooperating on chick purchases, cooperating on buying our pullets, consolidating our delivery routes. We did everything we could to keep prices flat without cutting anybody's wages or hours, and it worked until 2 weeks ago when I had a come to Jesus discussion with my accountant who said, you're out of magic tricks to keep your prices low. You either need to raise prices or you need to cut wages or cut hours or hang it up and go out of business. But anyway, all that to say this, I understand if our price of $7.15 is too high. I understand if our delivery fee to deliver this stuff to your front door, which ranges between $10 and $14, no matter how much stuff you buy, I understand if that's too high. People are squeezed. I get it. If you can't support us by paying this price, I understand. I don't blame you. Like, you don't have to explain yourself to me. But bro, do me a favor and don't make public comments on my page talking about my prices are 11% higher than they actually are. Telling people that I'm selling $8 a dozen eggs when I'm selling $7 a dozen eggs, which, by the way, you go to Wegmans, you go to Food Lion, and go to the pasture raised section, my prices are still competitive with theirs. For those of you that are fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to buy these eggs at that price, please do me a solid. Go to blackbirdcoop.com, place yourself an order. We'll deliver it to you. We're delivering to y'all next week. Help a brother out. If you can't help a brother out that way, then just don't lie about my prices and make it look like I'm more expensive than I am. Can I at least get that?